I nailed it down to two reasons why leaders wouldn't get promoted or make impact: emotional intelligence and the lack of challenging leadership. I felt like emotional intelligence was played out pretty well and documented pretty well. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a different take on this fierce conversations.
Hello and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. At Center for Victory, we're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. I'm Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer at the Center for Victory. I'm bringing on a guest today. He's kind of special because we actually grew up in the same area, believe it or not. So I don't know if we'll get into that today. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to waste the time because he is a very valuable leader, I would say, in our area. Jeff Hancher is the founder of Jeff Hancher Enterprises, specializes in organizational leadership solutions, leadership training and development, and sales training. He's all over the place now. I want to get into his book today. So his new book, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. Jeff, welcome to the show, man.
Good to be here, Eric. Long time coming. I'm excited to be with you and hopefully add some value to the listener.
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to add a lot of value. I'm excited about it. Uh, I can already probably say without a doubt I'm going to have you back on because I have so many questions and I haven't really got into the book yet, like gotten in and dug in and read it. But give us a little bit of your background too, because you just didn't jump into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Uh, you have a record. So I think you were in the military for what, 8 years?
Yeah. Yeah. Between active and reserve, 8 years.
Okay, and then where did you jump from there?
Crazy story about that. When I yeah, look, some of this may be even news to you, although we grew up and went to the same high school. I grew up in by definition poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Two parents that never worked a day in my life, both very, very sick. When I graduated high school, college wasn't really an option, although it didn't make sense. So I joined the military. I'm transitioning from the military, starting going from active to reserve. I'm going to take this GI Bill and I'm going to go to the elite educational institution, Cal U, California University of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to go become a gym teacher. That's what's up. I want my summers off. I was literally about 2 to 3 weeks from starting at Cal U. I get a call from my dad, and he says, "Hey, bad news. They're sending mom home in hospice, and I
Mm.
have to have a leg amputated." So my dad's getting his leg amputated from a serious infection. They're sending my mom home in hospice. And he asks me, "Can you put college off a semester and help us get things stable?" And I'm like, "Of course." And so here I am getting the nurses set up. And this was unfortunately common where mom would be in hospice, then she'd
Mm-hmm.
rebound, then she'd be in hospice. I'm in this moment and I'm like, I just don't want to be a burden on them. I at least got to help them pay some bills. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went and got a newspaper and applied to be a truck driver at Cintas Uniform Company. And I thought it was going to be a 3 month, 4 month seasonal job. It ended up being a 24-year career. And
Is that how
what
long you did that?
24 years, 12 promotions from skipper
Yep.
to senior leader. And I'd love to tell you it's because I'm great. It's not. I had some of the best leaders on planet Earth that really pulled out my potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought for sure I was going to retire there. But there was other plans ahead and, a prompting that really passion, the funeral test set in. And that's what prompted me to make the leap away from that company that I loved.
Mm-hmm. 12 promotions, stuck with it, worked your
Mm,
way up. That's a great story in and of itself. I'm
my
sure you
goodness.
learned a few lessons along the way. You
Oh
said you
my
had some
gosh.
great leaders. Did that
Had some
like
amazing
did that
leaders.
push you to do what you're doing now?
100%. When I tell you leadership matters, my life is an example of the high calling of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I was an absolute disaster. I was a hard worker. I will say that. I was a hard worker. I had to be, growing up, mowing lawns, whatever I had to do to help out the family. But I didn't have structure. When I became a sales rep, I didn't own a tie. I didn't know what collar stays were. I didn't know how to tie a tie. I was an absolute disaster, but there were leaders that popped into my life that transformed who I became. This get around people that have been where you want to go. Man, it's true. And I will tell you, at the hand of a leader is great transformation. And ultimately, that's the cliff notes to why I left the company and the career that I loved, is because I want to now spend the rest of my life equipping leaders to transform lives.
Mm, it's a great story. A good why
Yeah.
too.
Oh my gosh. Yes, man. I'm fired up. I am
Sounded
ready.
like a familiar story when you were telling that, like not knowing how to tie a tie. And
Oh,
I had a little bit more help, but
yeah. I would have my buddies, like, I had this one friend that was like a white collar guy, and I would go to like secondhand stores and buy ties and stuff, and he would tie them and leave them tied, like in
hanging.
the
Yeah.
noose. And you would just have to pray to the good Lord, please don't come untied, because I'm
Yeah.
screwed. If it does, like, please don't come untied. I just slip it over my head and knot it up.
Um, I want to, I just want to jump into the book because
Yeah.
I want to learn more about it. And, yeah, I'm going to take some notes here, Jeff, and then we'll talk. We'll
Yep.
break it up later on another episode, maybe. But your book, just so if everybody's listening here, is Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. Help your
Mm.
team win one conversation at a time. Now, as soon as I saw that title, I'm like, yeah, this is probably some good advice here. One, what made you write that?
It's a combination of things. When I left my corporate job, I left in December of 2019. I'm starting to get some footing. Pandemic hits, the world shuts down. So woe is me. I'm scared to death as it is. Like, who in the right mind leaves a great job like that? And I'm losing clients because everybody thinks the world's
Yeah,
coming
right.
to an end. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not employable because everybody's laying people off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm literally just sitting in my office, and I do what any responsible person does and ask the question, how do I add value?
Mm-hmm.
And I started really deeply thinking about what's the biggest problem that maybe I could solve. I took about 10 years worth of succession planning notes from my corporate days, where we would evaluate every leader in the organization and we would categorize them on well placed, reduction in responsibility, promote ready. And I nailed it down to two reasons why leaders wouldn't get promoted or make impact: emotional intelligence and the lack of challenging leadership. I felt like emotional intelligence was played out pretty well and documented pretty well. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a different take on this fierce conversations, that we've all read the book. I'm going to take a different take and make it a very simple framework, because I will tell you, at the hand of hard feedback is transformation. If you think about your Mount Rushmore of leaders that have impacted your life in the most profound way, were they tough on you? And the answer is yes. But did you know they cared deeply? The answer is yes. So we know it's possible. The fragile piece, Eric, comes from, I mean, look, we have quiet quitting. It's costing the global economy $9 trillion. We have the great resignation. We have the spirit of YOLO. People are just quitting. The fear of losing peak performers, getting top talent, retaining it. There's so much that's fragile that I feel like leaders are kind of cautious to really hold the standard high.
Um, so what's kind of the first thing? Like, obviously we're saying firm feedback. What kind of mindset does a leader have to actually get in the mindset of being able to give adequate feedback to somebody?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing is this, and I teach this. We have a workshop that came actually before the book, but I always ask the question to the people in the room: is feedback good or bad? and you'll get varying answers. But the real answer is this: it's neither. Feedback is information. That's it. When we take the emotion out of delivering feedback, it changes our entire mindset. Um, why we go into this fear of giving feedback? There's multiple reasons why, but the antidote to the fear of giving tough feedback is stop thinking about what if I give this feedback and it goes wrong, and shift your mindset as a leader to what if I don't give this feedback and I don't have the opportunity to transform their life. I talk about the acronym FEAR in the book,
Hmm.
and it's a real thing. This is what we call feedback avoidance. Why is it that leaders don't do this? Because they all know they need to. We all know.
No,
But the chest
absolutely.
tightens up, we start sweating. The F in the acronym FEAR is fallout. Like, what if I do this and it ruins my reputation or I'm not liked? And maybe they tell my boss or whatever it might be. Then you have emotion. What if I do this and they cry or get mad, or what if they quit? I don't know if it's worth it. Then you have amateur. This is the person, the A. This is the person that's never really been taught how to do this, because there is a framework of earning the right to give feedback. But then you have retaliation, the R. What if I do this and they call HR on me because I didn't do it right or I said something wrong? The antidote to that is one, to equip yourself, but two, change your mindset.
Yeah. You talk a lot about discipline and decisions. Why do those matter so much in a leader's life?
Yeah, I mean, discipline and decision making is absolutely critical. The discipline that comes before the decision making is what gives you the confidence to make the hard decisions. What we know about leadership is you are not ever going to have all the answers, but you have to have a confidence inside of you that says, I will be decisive. One of my favorite quotes is from Marcus Garvey when he says, if you lack confidence in self, you're twice defeated in the race of life, but with confidence you have won even before you begin. This leadership confidence doesn't mean that you're going to be doing it right, but it does mean that you're going to be decisive and you can get people to come with you. This comes through a lot of repetition. This comes through a lot of confidence that is not built in a day. It's built over time, it's built over multiplying wins and getting around great mentors.
So take us back to the book. What's one story or principle from the book that you think every leader needs to hear?
I would tell you it's the framework of the book. So the framework of the book is really three things. Because when you see the cover of the book, you might be thinking, I'm going to learn how to give feedback. Now look, it's just a really cool title to get you into the book, right? I mean, the reality is it's a process. It starts with setting expectations. Expectations earn you the right to give feedback. Feedback is the second pillar of the framework. But feedback alone also isn't enough. There's a third pillar of the framework, which is accountability. And I'll tell you a story that best exemplifies this in my own life. I get this truck driver job at Cintas Uniform Company. It's dirty, it's nasty. I'm picking up dirty clothes all day, and I would see these guys running around the office dressed in nice suits and ties and shiny shoes, and they drove these real fancy cars. You probably have heard about them, Honda Accords. I mean, these things were like machines, and I'm like, who are these people? Well, these are salespeople. So I end up applying for the job. I end up getting the job because I was a pretty well decorated truck driver. I was winning
Uh-huh.
awards. I get this job and I learned, Eric, that I sucked at sales, like absolutely horrible. Like, I mean, horrible.
He didn't
The
come out
good,
of the gate really well.
oh man, I was a disaster. I actually had somebody ask me to leave their building once.
Oh
Ask me
boy.
the question, how long have you been doing this? I said, like 4 months. They're like, I could tell you can leave. Like, that was my journey to
Oh
success.
boy.
I had a leader, his name was Sean. He saw my challenges, but he also saw my effort and potential. This guy would jump in the car, he would go on sales calls, he would give me feedback, he would take sales calls. This is the guy that took me to Joseph A. Bank and taught me how to dress like a professional. This is a guy that took me in the men's room and showed me how to tie a Windsor knot. He would stay late. We'd be in the conference room role playing, interest creating statements and objections. And I start to get a level of success. And he would always give expectations 50 on site visits a week, 20 dials per hour, 8 hours a week. There was expectations set. Then came the feedback in the car, the long rides to sales appointments. I'm starting to have a level of success. I get another call, fast forward from the story I told you about my mom and how I got the job in the first place. I got the call again one day. Jeff, you need to get to the hospital. So here, my brother and I, like we always did, head to the hospital. Mom's not doing well. She's going to be fine, though. She always is. Well, not this day. This was going to be the day that I would hold my mom for the last time. And it rocked me, Eric. And I mean, rocked me. I was starting to get to a place where I could help my parents. I was starting to make some sales commissions. And I fell into a very dark place. I don't know if I would define it as a depression, but my rebellious spirit started coming out. I don't give a crap about anything started coming out. And this went on for about 2 weeks at work until one day Sean pulled me in the office and he said, enough's enough. You have a family that's counting on you to win. And I'm not going to let you waste this opportunity. You're too talented,
Yeah.
but you do have two choices. You can either come back on this team and be the person I know that you can be, or you're not going to be able to stay on my team. And I'm not going to let you blow this opportunity. You have an 18-month-old son. You have an amazing wife. You have to make this happen. I didn't want to hear that from Sean, but I will tell you, it was a catalyst turning point in the trajectory of my career and my life. I
Yeah.
often look back in that moment and wonder, what if he didn't? And I would say that to the leader listening. Have
Wow.
you
Yeah.
earned the right to have that tough conversation?
Good morning. I hope you are enjoying this episode of Center for Victory podcast. My name is Caleb Cole, and I'm inviting you on our adventures. Check out the Center for Victory website under the Experiences tab and join us on some of the most epic adventures in the U.S. Let's go.
Critical.
It's very critical. I mean, I think, um, well, since we actually went to the same school, yeah, I adored whatever you say about him. I adored my high school coaches
Hmm.
because they might have not have known exactly what to do or the best thing to do every time, and people would criticize them, but they were always in my corner. At least that's how I felt. And then, yeah, I think it showed with the team that was built over those few years there. Uh, but some of those guys, I still like get together with and go have breakfast with. It's still to this day, and that's been a few years. But
Yeah, right.
but I remember when you're saying that, it would have been the last game I would have played um, in high school, and that we were in the playoffs, and I had gotten hurt the week prior to another game. We were headed to the championships, and just one game at a time, and I had gotten hurt, and I had kind of given up. Uh, the week before, I showed up in the locker room on Monday afternoon. I'm sitting in the trainer's room, and he just looked at me, and because of the things that you said, like I knew he cared. I didn't want to hear it, and my knee was pretty messed up, like, but it wasn't going to get any worse. But
Hmm.
I didn't ask myself the question, like, are you going to quit now? Like, he's
Mm,
like, are you just going to hang this all up?
mm,
Like, it's not just you, it's your teammates that are counting on you too.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
I, I'm telling you that, Jeff, because I love the story that you shared. But I am so thankful too, just to reiterate to people that he had that conversation with me.
It's
Be-
powerful.
because there are other times in my life where I wanted to quit. And I
Hmm.
remember that discussion where he looked at me and he expected me to get up off of that bench.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he walked beside me that whole, I mean, this guy, he's always walked beside me, but I mean, he walked beside me that whole week in that struggle because it was very difficult because it was
Yeah,
that knee did not work the way it needed to work. And, unfortunately, we ended up, losing that game uh, by a very slim margin the next week. But I still remember it because at least I was involved. I was there. I was there with my teammates, and I am so thankful for the lesson that he gave me. And he could have, to your point, he could have said nothing.
that's right. Yeah.
And
Sometimes saying nothing seems like the easy thing to do, right?
yeah, and
Especially if there could be some fallout from that. Like if I go up to Eric and say what I'm about to say, he's going to freaking blow because I know he's emotional right now.
Mhm.
I know that he's upset right now. He's probably going to throw a chair. He might even quit the team. I mean, extreme, right? But
Yeah,
it's like you don't know how people are going to respond. That day that my leader Sean had that conversation with me, the the grave dirt was fresh.
yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna go to this guy and say, get to work. Like, how do I navigate this? This is, I
right.
mean, look, leaders, you know this. We're leading people. We're leading people through substance abuse. We're leading people through, stage 3 cancer. We're leading people through health issues. This is the workforce that we're leading. And so many times leaders will fall back and say, well, I don't want to put more pressure on.
Yeah.
No, earn the right to put the pressure on. Because just like your trainer did, like Sean did for me, and many more after me, our Mount Rushmore are people that have been the toughest on us, but they made the deposits to earn the right to
Hmm.
make the withdrawals. That's
Yeah,
transformation.
absolutely. That's a very good point. Um, so we talk a lot about, and I've had these. It's funny that you and I are doing this today. Um, More so ironic, I would say, but leaders, I think we do okay setting those expectations when people are first starting, and then
Mm-hmm.
even as our company starts, right, and then we start. We just let this go. We just let that go. Then it goes by. We don't give feedback. It's this and that, and then all of a sudden, uh, you know the ship starts to come unloose,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, well, what happened? And it was just getting back to those standards, those expectations. How do you continue, or what recommendation would you give to how do you continue to have those conversations, uh, that you're giving feedback to people, but also just continuing to set expectations and the standards without letting them slip?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is to define the expectation. We have to also make sure that the expectation is reasonable and fair. Sometimes what we need is a 4-minute mile from you, Eric. But it's like, and maybe you could actually run a 4-minute mile, so maybe a bad example. But it's like not everybody can run a 4-minute mile, but that's what the team needs.
Hmm.
We can't just give expectations on what the organization needs. We have to do it based on what's realistic and reasonable. But then there comes a part of, have I adequately trained them to meet or exceed the expectation? Do they understand why the expectation is good for them? I hate to break it, but we all know this. Most of our employees don't care as much about the balance sheet as us. They care about, how is this going to benefit me? To
Hmm.
your point of, hey, look, we do well at setting expectations and onboarding. We got binders, we got training on demand, we got all the things, watch the video, we got all that, right? But I will tell you, it's the leader that meets frequently ad nauseum. My preference is weekly. And I
Hmm.
know what we're hearing right now is we don't have time for that. We got so much to do. Last I checked, the best use of a leader's time is investing in the people. We need to be level 4 leaders that are multiplying, not chasing level 3 results. We have to be multipliers. This is giving of your time. And so when these expectations are there, now we earn the right to give the feedback. Think about if you're a parent listening and your son or daughter's just turns 3 and you hand them a toothbrush with toothpaste and you say, Junior, here's how it's done. And here's why. If you don't do this, you're going to get cavities, your teeth are going to fall out, you're going to look ugly. Watch me do it. And then you do it. Are we good? We're good. Now, if you have kids, especially teenagers, okay, they get in the back of the car, you're all heading to church, and you're like, what in the world is that smell? You can't imagine that you told them at 3 and it's just going to be cruise control. It's
Yeah.
not. We have to keep addressing the expectation. Reasonable. Is it good for them? And why it's good for them. But guess what? We got to give feedback. If we are giving feedback and accountability without expectations, we are dictating monsters.
Mm.
If we are just giving expectations and feedback with no accountability, we're passive pushovers that are very liked and not respected. We need all three.
Yeah, that's a good clip right there. I'm gonna pull that out and
There
listen
you
to it
go.
again, Jeff. That's a good nugget there. You ready for our rapid fire round
I'm
here?
ready, man.
All right, here we go. I think I've got 5 or 6 here. Let's go with the first one. Besides your own book, what's one book that every leader should read?
The 5 levels of leadership, John Maxwell. Revolutionized. I mean, look, there's a long list for me.
Yeah,
The one
absolutely.
minute manager, Ken
Yeah.
Blanchard's right there. But the 5 levels of leadership, I feel, is a leadership library in one book and helps us navigate this leadership journey and solves a lot of the pitfalls that most leaders face. So that's got to be number one for me.
What's your I know we joked, I think you got in at 3 this morning and I just rolled in here at 8 o'clock. Actually got home. So that's funny that both of us were kind of in the same boat there.
If I would
But
have hung around, I probably would have saw you at the airport.
what's your what's your go-to morning ritual?
I would love, I know people have some amazing ones. Mine might be boring, but I will tell you, it has been very effective for me. I'm very inconsistent in working out and, and doing the hydration water and, all the things that people do with these great morning routines. Mine's very boring, but effective, I think. I get up, go to the bathroom, do my business, and I go back to bed and I lay there and I may lay there for up to an hour. Here's what I have found about the busyness of my life. We all have more to do in a day than time. Um, I believe in mentoring, I believe in all of that, but I think one of the greatest things that goes undone with high-paced drivers, competitors, is they don't think and reflect. And so I had a mentor tell me about this. Now, he didn't say go back to bed. He did it differently, but I just
Yeah.
lay there. Because literally, as soon as I come out of the bedroom, something's happening. The phone's going off. My wife's asking me something. So I literally sit there and I think. I think about the day. I think about what's happened. In that 40 minutes to an hour, I spend time in prayer. I spend time with gratitude. I'm big into gratitude because this sucks compared to what? Really? Like, no, this doesn't suck at all, actually. This gratitude thing, so reflection, thinking, gratitude, prayer, I take time almost every day to make sure that this happens. And it has changed how I move.
That's good
It's a
stuff.
big
I
one
just
for
go
me.
back to bed. Love that.
I just go
I'm
back to
never
bed.
gonna forget that one. That's a
That's
good. That's
right.
very good advice, and
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody out there like
They're
needs to
like,
hear that
yes.
too. Yeah. All right. All right. The next one, a quote or phrase you live by.
Jeremiah 29:11.
Oh,
That's me, man. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good, not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. This was a scripture that my grandmother Clark prayed over me as a young boy so many times when literally all hell felt like it was breaking loose around me and my brother. Parents in and out of hospitals, in and out of rehabs for substance abuse, things like this happening. And she's praying this over in the midst of all the chaos. And I will tell you that scripture has like helped me reset the mind that I need, that although you may be walking through a valley, you got to keep walking. There's only one way out of the valley. And this scripture has been a steady, steady faith promise for me in this journey.
love it. What's one decision that changed everything for you?
Leaving my corporate job. I was set to probably at least be close to eligible of retiring in my early mid 50s. And I had a big unvested stock portfolio. And here I am leaping off of this structure. And I was scared to death. I started my podcast in March of 2019 at the prompting of my pastor. And I
Mhm.
thought I was starting a podcast to help the leaders of our church and pay it forward kind of thing. And the podcast took off. And it led to this season of is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this my calling? Not what's
Mhm.
comfortable. Staying is
Yeah.
comfortable. But I will tell you this, as hard as it's been, and entrepreneurs listening know it's not for the faint of heart. It's it's so fulfilling, Eric. I can't imagine doing anything else. So, but that changed that significantly changed my life. There's a close second, third, fourth in that list, but maybe it's because it's recent, but high impact moment.
All right. And last one. What's a leadership myth you wish more people would drop?
um, that being nice is the same as being effective. That's a myth. Too many leaders avoid the hard conversations, right? Being nice and being effective. I'm not saying you have to be a monster to be
Yeah.
effective, but being liked is great, but being respected is the goal.
Mhm.
We can't just buy sheet cake on Friday and have ice cream socials and think we're going to take people somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, we can't protect our comfort at the expense of the mission, and we have to carry the standard that we are growing people, we are growing teams. Accountability, and not have, or I should say, not having accountability, it's the enemy of culture, of
Mhm.
great culture. So being nice is not the same as being effective. That's the myth. So clarity, not passive,
Yeah.
is what builds trust and excellence.
All right. Last one. Well, before that, how can people find you? I mean, we'll put it
I'm
down here in
easy
the
to
notes.
find. It's Jeff Hancher, like Jolly Rancher,
Yeah.
but it's with an H. You throw that in a Google search, I will pop up. The
Yeah.
website is my name. The podcast is on there. Everything's right there.
Yeah, and if you're trying to find him on LinkedIn, we're hooked together too. So just go check it out, get the book. Again, the book title, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. Help your team win one conversation at a time. Are you coming back, Jeff? Are we going to get to I've got
Oh
like
man,
I've
I am
got like
ready.
20
Let's
more
set the date.
questions. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So last question though before we jump off of here, because it's called Your Best Day Yet. We ask everybody that comes on, what does your best day yet look like?
My wedding day. My wedding day. Well, the day I married Janelle, we just celebrated 28 years. And it's not because she's amazing and beautiful, and all those things are great perks,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't just start it didn't just start a marriage for me, Eric. It marked the start of a new version of Jeff Hancher.
Yeah, I agree.
That rebellious guy kind of started fading away, the no nonsense. The Marrying her gave my life deeper purpose, clearer direction, structure that I
Mhm.
didn't even know that I needed. uh, she didn't just become a wife. I mean, it has transcended that. She became an anchor, the encourager that I needed. She's always reminding me of who I'm called to be.
Yeah,
She helps me live out Jeremiah 29:11. That
yeah.
day, it shifted everything. My focus, building a legacy, a family, a life that matters. So I think it was more than just a celebration for me, which it was an amazing day, but it was the beginning of everything meaningful in my life and the entire journey.
When
So
did you celebrate 28?
June 14th
Wow, that's crazy. We keep bumping into one another. We just celebrated 29,
on
and
what day?
It was June. We just celebrated June 29th, the 29th on June 29th.
Look at that. I mean, we should all go out and have
Yeah,
dinner next year.
but yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's funny. Well, it's great having you. Can't wait to dig in again, folks. Man, I would say if you're not connected with Jeff, get connected with him. More things to come. Stay tuned to the channel. We're definitely having this cat back. So
Yes.
good. It's always good to have somebody from the hometown succeeding as well. So it's
Let's
always
keep
good.
doing it together, man. I'm here
Congratulations,
for it.
and we're gonna do bigger things together. So that's all for today, folks. I appreciate you watching. Jeff, thanks for being on. And as always, just remember, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make this your best day yet. We'll see you soon.